In this video, I'm making a LEGO remote-controlled Minecraft spider. I feel like a somewhat accomplished LEGO builder. I've designed some official LEGO sets, I made tons of custom builds on my channel, I do LEGO commissions, and I've won some contests. But after all of that, I felt that I needed a bit of a challenge. I needed to tackle my biggest LEGO fear. Technic, which is basically LEGO with holes, and gears, and lots of other really weird elements that I don't understand. Like, for real, what's this thing? Or this? Or this one? Stacking regular bricks is way easier. And so an idea was born. I've been playing this new game called Minecraft way more than I should, and there's tons of animals and monsters called mobs that inspired me to actually pick one to decide and build it in LEGO form. But not only build it, actually making it move. And if it was supposed to be a challenge, then I choose to do the Minecraft spider, an 8-legged creature that crawls, jumps at you, has glowing eyes and makes uncomfortable noises. I hate my life. So I had to come up with a plan. The spider needed to move the legs, turn the head, have glowing eyes, and make noises. And to make all of this work, I have no option but to use the LEGO Mindstorm's robotic elements. They're like super advanced LEGO elements with hubs, motors and sensors which you can put together and code to make incredible LEGO creations. The biggest challenge I saw on the build was actually the legs. They needed to move in a believable way, however I would not use them to actually move the whole model. That would be far too complex for me to achieve right now. Sorry guys. Taking that out of the way, driving the spider around would be easy. Just connect two motors to the hub, put some wheels on, pair a PlayStation controller, do some simple coding and done? Not really. After a couple hours I figured it out. I hate to be right sometimes, but the legs were indeed the biggest challenge. I started playing around with the pieces because I needed a mechanism that would offset the movement of the legs. This one wasn't working, so I moved on to gears. But again, they were not offset, so that was a no-no. My next idea actually looked very promising as it made possible to offset the legs movement, and so I went with it and built it up. I finally had something that looked like spider legs, but when I connected it to a motor, it wasn't working at all. It wasn't reliable, and sometimes some of the legs didn't even move. I was still too attached to what I knew best, trying to use regular LEGO pieces, but that in the end wasn't helping me at all, so I decided to go full-on LEGO Technic mechanism. I was very proud of my next concept, and I thought to myself, I made it. And even though this sketch was more reliable, the four legs connected to the white connectors hardly moved, which didn't make me happy, and so I was back to the drawing board. Then the piston mechanism idea, like the ones from steam train wheels, came along, and after a lot of tinkering I finally had a reliable mechanism that offset the legs the way I wanted and would not require to use a back and forth movement like I was doing with all my previous mechanisms, which also proved to be the issue. But instead I could just keep a motor running for it to work. Turning the head only required a motor, and I also used the distance sensor which has LED lights so that the spider eyes would glow later on by using transparent red bricks. Next, I needed to code the build to make sure the legs move whenever I drove the spider around, but also left whenever the spider depending on my direction, but then always comes back to where the spider is going, but then always comes back to the spider. And after all of that, I had a working spider skeleton. Now I could finally get my hands on my beloved regular LEGO pieces to cover all of the mechanics and making this mess of a LEGO model to actually look like what it's supposed to. Here's a 20-second time-lapse of how that went. The final proportions aren't exactly perfect, but considering how everything had to fit underneath and how hard it was to do, I'm quite happy how it turned out in the end. And here it is, the LEGO remote-controlled Minecraft spider. This has been the most challenging LEGO project I've done in a while, but also the most fun. I can say I'm a LEGO Technic expert now, but I learned a lot from this and I honestly can't wait to do something like this in the future. What mechanical project should I do next? Let me know in the comments and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.